back on the theme of personalization, I think we have to continually use these tools and the technology and social media to empower people and give them the opportunity to make good out of the information sources that they're getting fed. Also, I would make a strong point, even though what I do and what my colleagues do is all internet based. I think there's a big case for a switch off, a big case for downing the phone and turning off the Wi-Fi, remembering to breathe.
That's interesting from someone whose livelihood and life is in that realm, which I appreciate, and I agree with you. I mean, it's the thing that I get from adventures, even though I'm filming sometimes. When I do turn my phone off, and I was trying to make a plan in my head to go, all right, if I'm going to do 3 or 4 adventures a year or less, I've got to do one where I don't film it, I don't put anything out there, I just do it for me and my friends that I'm doing it with, because and that will give me a sort of sense of, I guess, calm and peace, and you know that you're doing it for no other reason than you just want to go on an adventure and you want to get away, much like it sounds like when you go to the south of France.
Well, exactly. I mean, I was just thinking there as you were saying, excuse me, actually, I was thinking there, why don't you write a book?
Yeah?
You know, switch your phone off and write a book. And then I was thinking, actually, do you know what's happening? Things that we took for granted for so long are not, and then became obsolete, are now becoming treasured. I'll give you an example, a record player.
Yeah.
You know, the idea that, you know, the tactile nature of putting on a record that teenagers don't have a clue about. You know, the idea of a record sleeve, album cover, you know, art, you know, cover art, things like that. This is all beautiful stuff. Likewise, reading or writing a book, you know, what a beautiful cathartic activity to be involved in. And neither of those activities involve anything close to the internet.
It's interesting you mentioned reading there as well, and I am I try and read a book every few weeks. Not always the case, but for some reason I've tried Kindles, but I spend a lot of my life looking at screens, and I can't do it. For a book, I like to have the handheld copy of the book because there's something just different. I think your brain operates a different way. Whether even if I know the Kindle screen is quite dark or any of those screens you use, but it is still a screen, and to sit there with the pages, holding the pages, it's a bit more of a cathartic sort of release from that constantly typing and looking at a screen, I think.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's more organic. You know, it's physical, it's tactile, and I think again it's a good antidote to some of the things we mentioned earlier around social media fatigue, or, you know, getting frustrated with the sort of the funneling of various sources of information that you can't trust. So the idea of getting back to basics, I think, is a human trait, and as I said, I think it's important to have a balance more than ever now between how you engage with screens, as you mentioned, the digital world, online communities, online relationships, I guess, and balancing that with, you know, smelling the air, smelling the trees, smelling the flowers, you know, having the wind on your face. I mean, those things they should be precious, but they shouldn't be scant in your timetable. They shouldn't be a one-off. They should be something that you have a balance with.
I guess it's making time for those moments, and I guess in trying to be present in them,
right?
Which is great. And as you said, I think the balance is interesting. It's not something that I've necessarily been great at in my life. I'm usually 100% one direction and the other direction, and vice versa. And that's the same with information or relaxing, like the digital world. I love it because I can hoover up information and learn stuff very quickly through podcast interviews, and everything is great. But sometimes I feel like I'm absorbing so much information, I need a bit of a break from that, and that can be, like I said, just going for a walk in the forest somewhere, or reading a book. And even though, yes, it's information, it's a sort of slower pace to it. Effectively, it allows my brain to slow down a little bit, because I get a little crazy when I'm just doing, for a couple of weeks straight, I'll be like doing lots of projects, and I need that release sometimes.
Well, what a beautiful story to tell on the internet. So it's kind of, you know, there is a balance there. You know, you make a trek, you try something new, as I said, you go on many adventures. It could be a walk down the street, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
Trying some new food or new restaurant or new whatever. Trying a new exercise routine. Hey, and then if you have to or you want to, you can report that back on social media.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then other people can be empowered that way. So.